This week's Parashat Vayikra, we're starting a brand new Sefer of the Torah, Sefer Vayikra, and Hashem is calling out to Moshe Rabbeinu. He says, Moshe Rabbeinu, come into the Mishkan. We ended up the last Sefer Shemot, the very, very end. We finally built the Mishkan, Vasuli Mikdash, Veshachanti Betocham. Hashem says, build for me a sanctuary. I'm going to come. I'm going to dwell with you. And now we did it. We built the Mishkan, and now HaKadosh Baruch Hu is calling out, as Rashi says, Lashon Chiba, Vayikra, a language of love. Moshe Rabbeinu, come into my home, come into the Mishkan. And we spoke last year about the very first word of the Sefer, Vayikra, and the last letter in that word, Vayikra, has a small aleph. We spoke at length about the famous Balaturim, about why is there a small aleph. So let's say over very quickly the very first idea that we said, but then let's try to move in a different direction. Okay, so says the Balaturim, why does it say Vayikra with a small aleph? Rashi said Lashon Chiba, it's a language of love, but why the small aleph? Because Moshe Rabbeinu was very humble. He had a major level of anava, he had a major humility, as the Torah is going to tell us later on. He was the most humble person to ever live. That's Moshe Rabbeinu. And he didn't want Hashem to write the language of Vayikra because that would show too deep of a connection. Oh my God, everybody would see how much Hashem loves Moshe Rabbeinu. It's a Vayikra with an aleph, Lashon Chiba, it's way too much. Rather, if you just remove the aleph, it would say Vayikar, which is from a language of Mikra. It just kind of happened that God happened to speak to Moshe Rabbeinu. It wouldn't be as big of a deal, and then Moshe Rabbeinu would not be seen as this great Moshe Rabbeinu, and that's a good sign of humility, so that's why he wants that letter erased. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, no, I'm not going to erase it, but we'll make it smaller, and that's the small aleph at the end of Vayikra. And we spoke last year about how that connects to the idea that the little children are the first ones to learn Vayikra, because let the pure ones learn the laws of pure stuff, the book of Vayikra. Okay, beautiful. Let's say a new idea. Why though the small letter aleph? Why is the aleph going to symbolize this act of humility from Moshe Rabbeinu? Okay, so here's the idea that I heard. If you open up the midrash of Otiot de Rabbi Akiva, this is like a Kabbalistic midrash kind of thing, where it speaks about, in one section, about the letters and how HaKadosh Baruch Hu creates the world. So Hashem wants to create the world. We know about Asar Ma'amarot, with 10 utterances, Hashem creates the world. There's an idea that the letters, the alphabet, was used to create the world, and the different letters came to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they wanted to make their case to Hashem. Pick me. I want to be the letter that you use to create the world. And it says that the Midrash over there says that it starts with the letter Taf. The last letter of the alphabet comes to Hashem. He says, pick me, because from me, the word Taf, we have the word Torah. Torah tzivalanu Moshe. I am the Torah. And then Hashem is Dochem. He says, no, the Taf is going to be used for other things that are not as positive. I can't use the Taf. Comes along the Shin. The Shin starts to make a case to Hashem. Hashem says no. And then says the Midrash, it goes backwards, all the letters, until we get to the letter Bet, the second letter of the alphabet. And when it gets to the letter Bet, the Bet says, please pick me, please pick me. Why? Because through me, people are going to say, Baruch Hashem Yom Yom. People are going to bless Hashem daily. I guess this is referring to the Beracha. There's actually a Midrash Rabbah that says, similarly, that why did Hashem pick the letter Bet? Because Bet is the language of Beracha. It's a language of Baruch. It's a language of blessing. And I saw a nice idea. The Maharal takes it a step further. He goes, the root of the word Bracha, Baruch, Bet, Reish, Kaf, they're all doubles. Their Bet is 2, Kaf is 20, Reish is 200, so it's 222. That's the language of Baruch. It's a doubling over, because when you want Bracha, you want it to spill over, you want the shuffle, you want to double it over. And Hashem says, you know what? I like it. I like the argument, Bet. You're right. I want you. Then he says, Baruch Hashem, Baruch haba b'shem Hashem. Hashem agrees, and immediately it says, Miyad, Hashem created the world. The Kadosh Baruch Hu was Boreh the Olam with the letter Bet, as it says in the Torah, Bereshit bara. Hashem creates the world with Bereshit bara, with the Ot Bet, with the letter Bet. Awesome. Okay. When the letter Aleph, the first letter, we never made it all the way to the end. We didn't make it to the Aleph. When the letter Aleph saw that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was creating the world with the letter Bet, so it says in the Midrash that the letter Aleph stood off to the side, like all quiet. He's all silent, like hanging out on the side over there, until Hashem finally calls to him and says to him, he goes, letter Aleph, little Aleph, why are you silent? Why don't you say anything? Why aren't you making your case? So the Aleph responds to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because I can't compare to all these other letters. They're worth so much more than me. I am one. I'm a single unit. The Bet, that's 2. That's the double that we spoke about. The Baruch, the Gimel is 3. I'm only 1. I'm not worth anything. So Hashem says to the letter Aleph, he says, no. Letter Aleph, don't be scared. Al Tira, you're the head of all of them. You're the Rosh of Kula. You're the head of them all. You're like a king. You are Echad. You're one. And I'm Echad. The Torah is Echad. Says Hashem to the letter Aleph, you are one. I am one. The Torah is one. And therefore, when I give the Torah to my nation, to Am Yisrael, it's going to be through you, through the letter Aleph. As I'm going to say, when I give the first of the commandments, when I'm giving the Torah, Anochi Hashem Elohecha. So we have the idea that what is Aleph? Aleph symbolizing one, symbolizing Ehad. The Ehad is Hashem. It's the Anochi Hashem Elokecha. It's exactly what we say in the Torah. Says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're right, you're going to have to wait. I'm going to create the letter Bet. But when I finally get to the Torah, this is what's the whole purpose of the world? Why did Hashem Bereshit bara? For what? For the Reshit, for the Torah. What's it all worth? It's for you, letter Aleph. You symbolize the Torah. You're the Anochi Hashem Elohecha. You symbolize the oneness, and that is me. So Aleph refers to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As the Mekubalim say, that Aleph also responds to Alufo Shel Olam. What's Aleph? Alufo. What's Alufo Shel Olam? That Hashem is the champion of the world. The Aleph, again, is the representation of God. If you actually want to draw Aleph, for all the Sofrim out there, for all of you that are writing Torah, the scribes, the letter Aleph is made up of 3 little letters. You have the diagonal Vav and the 2 little Yuds, one on top, one on the bottom. You have Vav, a Yud, and a Yud is Gematria 26. Gematria Yud Kei Vav Kei. Shem Hashem. So the Aleph corresponds to Echad, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So to demonstrate Moshe Rabbeinu's humility, to demonstrate his anava, so now let's get back to our parasha. Why this small Aleph? Because he says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how could you call out to me, show this great level of love, like Rashi says, and write Vayikra with the Aleph? But the Aleph corresponds to you. The Aleph corresponds to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to Hashem, to Alufo Shel Olam. Aleph is Echad, the Torah. You can't do that. You can't connect me to that. It's Aleph is Hashem, it's Alufo Shel Olam, it's Torah. It's not me. It's not, what am I? I'm Moshe Rabbeinu. I mean, it's Torah to Moshe, but he says, I can't do it. He's so humble. Please erase the letter Aleph. So I heard a nice idea with Rafaim. He quotes the Meshech Chochmah, that the Meshech Chochmah says that Moshe Rabbeinu is given 2 praises in the Torah. One praise is that he's the most humble person ever. He has that anava we're going to learn later on. And another thing we're going to learn towards the end of the Torah, that he was the greatest Navi ever. And he's at the level of Nevuah, there's a level of connection to HaKadosh, speaking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As Chazal teaches, he spoke to HaKadosh Baruch Hu while awake. He spoke through a clear aspaklaria. It was speaking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It was a level of revelation and closeness to God, which the Meshech Chochmah explains. It's only if you can reach this level of graceness and still hold back and not be haughty, that's going to make you the most humble person. Only somebody who could reach such heights with the Kadosh Baruch Hu can also reach such levels of humility if he knows how to control it and control that ga'ava. So I was thinking, maybe that's the concept of the Aleph here as well. Refiner says something a little bit similar in his Dvar Torah, that Hashem says, I'll grant you part of your wish. You know what? I'm not going to, I know the Aleph, it symbolizes me, it symbolizes this greatness, it's Echad, it's Torah, and for you, you're humble, it's too much for you. So you know what? I'll make it smaller. I won't make it so big. When they lift the Torah, you have to look closer to see that actual Aleph. If you look from far away, you might only see the Vayikra like you wanted. So I'm going to make it smaller to demonstrate to everybody that how humble you are, how much you're lowering yourself. Let them learn the laws of Anava from the fact that you wanted it smaller. We're going to teach Anava right here. But I'm still going to give you the letter Aleph. I'm still going to give you my letter because I want to demonstrate at the same time your greatness. You deserve the level. You are the only one that's going to be able to reach that level of Nebuah, that level of knowledge of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. We said in the past that there's a beautiful chazal that says that, if Moshe Rabbeinu was originally supposed to write the Aleph with a big Aleph, there's a lot of ink for a big Aleph. Now that he writes a small Aleph, so what happened to the extra ink he never wrote? So there's a chazal that says that extra ink, that extra ink came on Moshe Rabbeinu's face and it spilled on him, and that made the glow that Moshe Rabbeinu was glowing when he came down from the mountain. At the same time, we know from the simple shot, when Moshe comes down, he has that glow. Why? Because he asked to see a Kadosh Baruch Hu. He says, Hashem, let me see you face to face. Now Hashem says, you can't see me face to face, but I'll show you my backside. And Moshe Rabbeinu was able to see and get a glimpse of something of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, some level of divinity that no other human being was ever possible to see. And that's what caused them to glow. And these are the exact same ideas. It's the small letter Aleph, symbolizing a Kadosh Baruch Hu, this level of the greatest Nevuah, the second praise of Moshe Rabbeinu, that he can reach that level of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, of seeing a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Now, at the same time, though, he knows how to use it and make himself humble and control it. Therefore, Kadosh Baruch Hu says, let's take this letter Aleph that symbolizes me, let's attach it to you with a statement of love, of Vayikra, but we'll make it smaller because you really are that enough. Shabbat Shalom.